Well, good evening and welcome to the pre-Christmas chill stream. Batman's borked, so we gotta play this. CTHULU Saves Christmas. I tested it out. It seems to be running fine, although I did have to modify this a little bit. But apparently there's an issue with the Arkham games after the latest update that I had to run. They won't run in a window running Hyperland, so yeah. We're going to go with... I did a test run of this game. I didn't play very long on it, so I do have a save on this game. But we're going to play it from the beginning, and I'm going to go with the sane option because I'm still getting used to this game. It's kind of a last-minute thing for this stream. And for those who love story, easiest enemies, why not? We'll do it. Difficulty can be changed freely in-game. Experiment to find the best difficulty for you. Who knows? This might be a very experimental stream. But thank you to Kid Fury for giving us some heavy metal lyrics throughout the waiting period. Wonderful. All right, we're gonna see how CTHULU saves Christmas. All right, let's go. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through Relay, not a creature was fighting, not one in a fray. Okay, it's one of these games. This is a JRPG, by the way. No stockings were hung by the chimney with care. They all had been naughty. No Saint Nicholas there. Saint Nicholas was probably punching heretics. CTHULU was nestled all snug in one elucidating space, with visions of destruction lighting up his cold face. When out on the altar there arose such a clatter that CTHULU toppled out of bed to see what was the matter. There shall be no more poetry in my... Oh, yeah. Cool. I promise nothing. But what's this, a present from Santa? This cannot be. Goodness knows I've been anything but good this year. And yet, it was a present. And it did have a tag indicating that it was from Santa. CTHULU opens the present. What foul sorcery is this? A dark mist envelops CTHULU, stripping his power away from him. Not my power, that's one of my favorite things. Without my power, how am I supposed to destroy the world? No, this shall not stand. I shall have my revenge. I will not rest until the blood of Santa adorns my blade. Excuse me, but I do believe this is a family-friendly game. Gosh, I do hope so. Do I look family-friendly to you? I don't know. He looks nice. Plus, the game is literally called CTHULU Saves Christmas. All right. And save it I shall. Santa has lost his marbles. He must be stopped. To the surface world, my quest for vengeance begins. All right. Beautiful. Looks like we're going to come up on the first little battle. On the beachy shore bordered by the cliffs of insanity, CTHULU spots a maiden beset by horrible monsters. A tutorial battle approaches. Basic tutorial 1, recharge items, hyper. All right. A lot of these I've already read. I'm not even going to deal with reading them again because I tested this game out again. Once again, because Batman was borked, and I really was not willing to do all the configuring for actually forcing it into a window. That was easy. Wonderful. All right. We got... Oh, my gingerbread. You're CTHULU, right? Oh, yeah. This Crystal Claus character. She does a lot of puns. Just look at me. These tentacles and wings don't lie. I know granting boons is not in your nature, but I'm sure you'll make an exception for me. I need your help. Hard pass. Yeah, I agree. I agree, CTHULU. No, don't do it. Don't get your tinsel in a twist. I just need a teensy tiny favor. I'll be sure to make it worth your while. I don't know if I'm going to read all of this tonight. This is ridiculous. I doubt that, but continue. I am the Snow Maiden, Crystal Claus, defender of the Winter Highlands, and the spreader of holiday joy. I need your help to rescue my grandfather, Santa Claus. You're kidding, right? Have you seen the title of this video game? She's not kidding. This narrator, wow, it's so millennial. The League of Christmas Evil has kidnapped Santa Claus. So pay the ransom fee and be done. That's a good choice. They don't want money, they want Santa out of the way so they can take over the holiday for themselves. They've been sending anti-presents, packages that, when opened, give the recipient the opposite of what they most desire. Oh, so it's an Arch Linux update. Great. It's a Pac-Man. Good job. That must be why I felt my power draining. Exactly. If they were powerful enough to kidnap Santa, they must be packing some serious firepower. And since your name is literally in the title, you have to be super strong, right? True, I'm indeed mighty, even when operating at less than optimal levels. If you help me rescue Santa, I guarantee that you'll, that's another pun, be permanently on Santa's good list. No more coal, actual presents. And if I were to wish for the power to destroy the world, I'll make sure it's granted. That's not a good deal. Really. Santa is going to give me the power to destroy the world. That feels off-brand. Of course it does. He might have reservations, but I'm sure when I explain to him what happens at the beginning of Cthulhu Saves the World, he'll be fine with it. You have a deal. Oh, Cthulhu Saves the World is the game that these developers made previous to this. See, I haven't played that. So I don't know what happens at the beginning. I shall save Christmas, only to destroy it. Cthulhu and Crystal Claus have joined forces. Wonderful. And as we're going through this, and my terrible reading with this JRPG, I would ask everyone to, any questions, if they got questions, Christmas questions or anything like that, go right ahead. And of course, have a conversation in the chat. Like I said, thanks to Kid Fury for giving us all the heavy metal lyrics before that. Kill Switch is a great way to start the stream, especially a stream with Cthulhu Saving Christmas. He definitely saved this live stream for sure, because Batman, like I said, Batman was borked, and I was not too happy with that. I was looking forward to playing Batman. I was looking forward to Arkham Origins, because I've actually never played Arkham Origins before. Apparently that one is the less than stellar entry. Rocksteady didn't create that game, but I did test it out. I got up to the part where he's interrogating the Penguin. I played through that, and it worked perfectly fine, like 2 weeks ago when I tested it, and then all of a sudden, it didn't work. Only stun one. Yeah. We got the Unite right here. Alright, that works. Best Christmas songs other than hymns. So, let me think of that. Best Christmas song other than hymns. Well, would it be... It's easier to pick the worst Christmas songs other than hymns. Everyone rags on the Mariah Carey one, and for a good reason, because it's horrible. And it's constantly played, despite the fact that it took it 20 years to reach #1. But one of my favorite Christmas songs is Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. I like that one. I like any of the old 50s ones, the Bing Crosby, you know, stuff like that. Oh, we can equip that now. We need to equip. We get the strong wand here. That's the only item we have so far. The strong wand. Or did Cthulhu have one? Nope. No, we haven't got one for Cthulhu yet. Okay. Kenny G was always pretty awful. I mean, sure, Kenny G, if you're not into Kenny G, I have to respect Kenny G because he has the world record, or at least he had at one point the world record for longest single note. Man, I really should... Oh, I have no healing. No. I really should heal Crystal Claus here. What is the biggest, if you hadn't done that one thing, we would have been big moment in pop culture, not metal specifically? If you hadn't done that one thing. The Kid Fury with the questions that make me think. I mean, this is the real content everybody comes for. It's like, oh, what can... If George Lucas had have put something in the clause, like when he was selling Star Wars, and he was like, if he would have forced them to keep his story treatments for the sequel trilogy, that would have been amazing. They would have forced him to be like, if he would have put in the contract that force them to do what he wanted them to do for the sequels, it at least would have been at least somewhat better than what we got, for sure. Oh, there's another thing down here. Thoughts on the Jews? Well, ethnic Jews are fine. I don't have a problem with, with anyone's ethnicity, of course, because we are nice people after all. If that's but as far as the religion, obviously not a fan. Not a fan of the Jewish religion, because Judaism, the religion, is a false religion. And about that's as much as I can say about it, at least here on YouTube. I don't think it's controversial for me as a Lutheran pastor to say that that Judaism is a false religion. Oh, come on. There we go. Lutheran Zionist pastor caught in 4K. How am I a Zionist if I say that Judaism is a false religion? I mean, there's... I don't know. I'm trying not to get myself, just removed off of YouTube. We're trying to have, like, a nice Christmas stream. Oh, it was about the ethnicity thing. Gotcha. Okay. Theological... No, this is what a chill stream is for. Theological questions. What source can I look up Abijah in Tishri? Yeah, so the biggest source would be Josephus himself in Antiquities of the Jews and in Against Apion. He makes direct reference to the calendar there. There's also some references to it in the Mishnah. I think I actually put a comment on there yesterday, I believe, or maybe it was this morning. My days are running together, but with a specific reference that I used in researching the video. So Josephus is the #1 referent, and then the Mishnah would be another one, which doesn't help my, I guess, Zionist tendencies, according to Kid Fury. Yeah. So any questions, silly questions, theological questions, anything. That's the point of a chill stream. We can just play a game and we can have conversations, and that's a good thing. All right, so we're encountering Jack Frost now. The League of Christmas Evil has lived in the shadow of that Okuda, whatever. If by shine you mean the Japanese word for to die, then you are correct. It's a JRPG. You have to admit some of the players are familiar with melodramatic Japanese battle cries. I agree. Core of Monitors is... That's a possibility. If multiverses actually existed, then yes, there is an alternate universe where that happens. It's early in game. There's no way that you have stats back that up. Basic tutorial 4, ailments. See, we're not even out of the tutorial yet. I'm a tutorial boss. This cannot be. Okay, basic tutorial 4. 7 ailments, insanity, stun, disarm, poison. Yeah, make an enemy insane. I'd like to see him insane. Let's see what happens with that. Disarm lowers attack. Yep. Basic JRPG functionality here. Yeah, I agree, Cthulhu. This is that the tutorial missions on JRPGs are always boring. This is what we really want. And I'm always gonna go for tentacles because I'm gonna go for the tortellini attack. I gotta go with Jack Frost on that one. Of course he's gonna get me. Oh. Let's do a unite. Alright, got rid of the 2 guys. Ice damage, lower stun resist. Stun. Let's do this. Alright. Let's see. Oh, well, I didn't get to see him insane. Just killed him. Is new metal cringe? No, new metal's not cringe. I mean, certain new metal bands are cringe, but not the whole genre in and of itself. It's making a comeback. I mean, Flyleaf is considered new metal, and I like them. They're a good, cool band. I've seen them live a few times. Favorite deathcore bands? I gotta go with Impending Doom. I mean, Impending Doom's kind of like the safe choice there. I actually got Nailed Dead Risen on my computer now, on my Jellyfin server, by the way, because I really like that first album, Nailed Dead Risen. It's very, very good album, and it's a much harder sound, much rougher sound. I know they went more deathcore later, but like more melodic deathcore, I guess I should say. But genuinely, that first album is phenomenal. Nu metal was the soundtrack for us between 39 and 46. Yeah, I'm a little bit younger than that, but yeah, I mean, death metal's or nu metal's making a comeback for sure. Welcome to Christmas Land, the Christmassiest place on Earth. Fatung, I can practically feel the goodwill towards men seeping into me. I'll get blitzing on finding our next Christmas League of Evil target, but it could take me a while. It'll take a week. It always takes a week. Absolutely. You heard the narrator. That leaves you plenty of time to see the sights and make some friends. Oh, forge. Oh, I forgot. Jack Frost said, as I was skipping through all of that tutorial nonsense, you got to build relationship bonds with others. And, you know, relationships, it's a play on relay where Cthulhu lives. His room will suffice. Rest of my day, it's time to go to sleep. It's not even noon yet. One activity day, them's the rules. And the narrator just made Cthulhu go to sleep. Wonder what would happen if I stick his hand in this bowl of water. Okay. Are As I Lay Dying glazers annoying? Yes, they are. Especially the ones that just try to shove all the scandals under the rug, act like it's not a big deal. I'm a firm believer in separating the art from the artist, but at the same time, when the artist is clearly full of himself and not repentant, I can't separate that. Like, there's certain lines that even I won't cross. You say, do I remember my first Christmas? what should I pick? Let's say no, I don't. Do I look like someone who celebrates Christmas? No, Santa decided early on to skip our house on his yearly trip of delivery. See all the other creeping evils enjoying their brand new train sets and pop guns, and what did I get? Nothing. But even if you didn't get presents, didn't you ever feel something deep within yourself? A lighter heart, a joyful spirit, a sense of hope. Too busy being evil to notice such trivial things. So you have a lot of work to do if you're going to get you to understand the joy of Christmas. Okay. On the way home, these parts of dog, weird looking stick. A shield wand. Oh, nice. So we can we equip that now? Oh wait. No, I was supposed to equip crystals. Better than sword wand. Okay. Cool. Alright. What Kid Fury, are you a As I Lay Dying glazer? I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about their music. I'm just saying I don't like Tim Lambesis as a person. I mean, if you can separate the art from the artist, that's fine. I don't have a problem with you, like, glazing up As I Lay Dying. I think As I Lay Dying is great. I just don't, Tim Lambesis just rubs me the wrong way. That's all I gotta say. Maybe. All right, question. I play Magic the Gathering, and in my deck I play a card called Demonic Tutor. Not to evoke the satanic panic again. How should we approach depiction of the devil? Here the devil helps me win. LOL. So it's the same. I think this is the same question as things like Harry Potter and stuff like that. There's a difference between real life witchcraft and things that the Bible condemns as being witchcraft. And then there's fictional ideas of that. Like, Mephisto from Marvel Comics is not the real devil, right? There's elements there, and of course you have, like the archetypes that represent the devil, represent the enemy, represent the demonic, and it depends on the context. Again, context is key to a lot of this. Just like Cthulhu represents the old gods and everything, but in this game he's kind of a joke, right? He's kind of like the just a funny main character type. This is obviously not invoking some sort of ancient demonic entity by playing this game or something like that. So I'd say the context is key to that. But if it bothers your conscience, or if it bothers someone else's conscience, probably don't play that card during a game. I guess Kill Switch Engage is better than As I Lay Dying. What would Cthulhu do in this? I'd say Cthulhu learned a little bit from spending time with Crystal Claus. We will try to comfort her. Santa is definitely getting rescued, and if you're lucky, he won't even be hideously maimed by then. That's an option? I didn't realize that was an option. Please tell me that's not an option. It's highly unlikely. 20% chance, 30% chance tops. You shouldn't worry about it one bit. I think talking to you isn't good for my mental stability. Well, we tried. We tried. As a bonus for being the 100th customer of the day, the ice cream shop gives Cthulhu a special prize. A mystery cloak, the accessory for Crystal, boosts her stats. So we got another accessory for Crystal. When are we going to get something for us? Now I'm starting to sound like Cthulhu. I'm being very selfish. Crystal's the one getting all of the cool toys. Now I got to go to the mall and get myself some cool toys, I guess. An off store with a help wanted sign on it. No, are we gonna get a job as Cthulhu? Alright, we're doing mall Santa stuff? Alright. Apparently it fits perfectly. What'd you like for Christmas? Don't worry about my looks. I have the flu. Oh, so Cthulhu's using my excuse every time I look bad. Every time I stumble into a place and I forget to do anything. I don't dress up or nothing. I have the flu. I'm sick. That's why I look terrible. I'm constantly sick. Merry Friendskin to you, little girl. And what would you like Santa bring you for Christmas this year? The light from the girl's eyes dims as she begins to drool. Many children later, the day comes to a close. Gotta level with you, man. You're the worst small Santa I have ever set my eyes on. Thank you. Hysterical calls from parents are up 15% from last year. Last year wasn't great. Who am I kidding? It's not like anyone else wanted the job. Here's your paycheck. Oh, right. We did. We got a fencing sword. Weapon for Cthulhu adds the disarm ailment to his stash ability. I doubt I'll be back. I'll get any better employees anytime soon, so come back anytime you want to make a few bucks. It's now Christmas Eve the 5th. It sounds a little wrong. Christmas Eve the 5th. Oh, wait. Where did it go? Fencing sword. Yes. Cool. Cthulhu. Yes. Do you like bands where one guy is on unclean vocals, the other on clean vocals? It's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Ryan Clark does both. I think it's how the band does it. There were so many copycat bands that were doing the, you know, clean and guttural vocals. Like, I think it's the way they incorporate it. I like the way Showbread does, and even though Showbread's not metal, Showbread's more, you know, post-hardcore and everything. But I like the back and forth that Josh and Tay did back in the day, because both of them screamed and both of them did clean vocals, but there was a reason for that, and I like when bands can do things that are a little bit different. Train set, fake snow. It's been a while since the last customer entered the mall. The day comes to a close. You weren't kidding and made that display. I almost choked myself to death. We had our worst day of sales ever thanks to you, but I did manage to get a lot of reading in, so I guess I owe you that. Here's your paycheck. Now leave before I change my mind and fire you. Cthulhu gets a growing tentacle. This accessory for Cthulhu regenerates HP. It's now Christmas Eve the 6th. Pressure on his head as if someone's trying to smother him with a pillow. I recently became an Augsburg Catholic, and I was curious your thoughts on this. My Catholic friend always has to make it a point to say Rome doesn't count our sacraments as valid. Yeah, but they do count a lot of other people's sacraments as valid, and it depends on who you're talking to as far as who counts what as valid. The sacraments may not count as valid according to Rome, but some of Rome, I mean, obviously, according to Vatican II, we are separated brethren, so you have to kind of account for that. Anglican rites are oftentimes considered valid sacraments. The East, they would consider the East to have valid sacraments, although the East sometimes goes back and forth with Rome on that. So it really depends. It depends on who you're talking to. If you get to a like a hardcore Vatican II type individual, they're going to say that the sacraments count because they're separated brethren. And that's the problem. Rome wants to try to say that they have unity on a lot of things when really there's a lot of different ideas and theories, even amongst some of their higher ranking academics and stuff, about who has valid sacraments and who doesn't. Typically, yeah, they would consider us to not have valid sacraments simply for the fact that we're not in fellowship with Rome. However, some people who are not in fellowship with Rome, according to Rome, also have valid sacraments. So it's one of those, It's one of those, like, rules for thee, but not for me kind of thing. Yeah, it is annoying that they presuppose that Rome is true. Wake up, Cthulhu. I found someone who knows where a League of Christmas Evil member is hiding. Baba Yaga. I'm Baba Yaga John. Pleased to meet you, boss. The League of Christmas Evil is the last place you'd expect. Santa's very own toy workshop? No. The cats, I only do chicken metaphors, okay? When the chicken's away, the chicken will play. Makes sense, the chicken are on vacation, so they're having a good time and playing. Okay. New girl with chicken on your head. What is with the chicken on your head? I like chickens. Okay. Trendsetter. Everyone's gonna be wearing chip. Baba Yaga. I think I've heard of you. Aren't you supposed to be a lot older? Actually, a 1,000-year-old witch. I just look like... No! No, they didn't. They didn't do that. Is that supposed to be a cheeky reference to something? Seriously? No, that's nuts. Oh, thank goodness. Anyone who tells you that is covering for something. Oh, they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. What you see is what you get. Okay, so she is a kid. Okay. Let's go to Santa's workshop tomorrow. I'm coming with. Not taking some kid and a chicken. But gawk. On our quest, we can handle things just fine by ourselves. You're wrong. And that's where you're wrong. Baba Yaga and Cluck Cluck have joined your party. I hate it when he does that. In combat, Baba can gain chicken power using a chicken move. We'll spend all chicken power in order to boost the ability's power. Okay, cool. All right, I get it. I get it. Let's get to it. Yeah, I'm saying big fat stupid head. All right, let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling through this. If the Reformers and Papists reconcile, we may have seen a Lutheran distinction like Augsburg or Benedictine. Yeah, I mean that was the whole. That was one of the things the Lutherans wanted. They wanted to have a council. They wanted to have a dialogue with Rome, and Rome just refused. So, how do you feel about the LCMS and Wells' lack of table and pulpit fellowship? I think it's kind of unnecessary. I mean, the Wells have gone a little bit more into their peculiars after their whole split. But when you really dig down to it, there's not much of a reason for them to not have altar and pulpit fellowship. They have the same, well, I shouldn't say the exact same, but it's a very similar understanding of the office of the ministry. Very similar understanding of the office of the ministry. And despite the Wells being much more strict on their fellowship angle and everything, I still think that they could probably patch things up if they really wanted to, because they're not as far removed as what they think they are, or at least what Wells thinks they are. They're really not as far removed. They're really coming from the same Waltherian kind of understanding of things. Alright, I think this is where I stopped when I was playing the... No, this is not where I stopped when I... Alright, battle time. Now this is why you play JRPGs, right here. Ooh. Nice. All right, we have a ransacked toy factory. With a bunch of minions running around. poison them. No, no, I didn't even... you gotta wait your turn. Let's see. There we go. Outside of metal and hardcore, what is your favorite albums of other genres? Well, let me start with the other genres. My guilty pleasure is techno. I love Joy Electric, and one of my favorite albums by Joy Electric is Otherly Opus. Really love that. I love Euro trash techno, like Ace of Base and like Real McCoy and stuff like that. So that's kind of my guilty pleasure right there. But I love techno music. I also like vaporwave, so that's I really like stuff like that. Oh, fine, I'll do ice damage on this one. What's it? The Unite one. Ooh. Nice. Have you done a video on Eldona's criticisms of the LCMS doctrines? That would be interesting. I haven't done a video on it. I have done some podcast episodes for Bookcase Behind Me where I've had other Eldona pastors on, and it wasn't necessarily a critique specifically of LCMS doctrine, but more discussing Eldona specifics and distinctives and things like that. But it would be interesting to do. Just, I'd like to figure out a way, because I don't want to come off as being mean or something like that with it. So it's one of those, I got to figure out the right way of working something like that. Because I love my LCMS friends, you know? I disagree with a lot of things, which is why I'm in the Eldona and not in the LCMS, but I do love my guys, you know? You know, Javier is a decent dude, and I like him. Pastor Grills, of course. Love that guy. So I just don't want to come off as being like a mean doo-doo head or something when it comes to that. Oh, that was quick. Oh, Saint Grandpapa Fury's here. Now we have a legit saint. Luther's dog has joined the chat. Can I find anything in here? Oh, here's a treasure chest right here. Perfect. What do we got? Stone Pestle. The weapon for Baba boosts her physical damage. Alright, let's see if we can equip that. Alright, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and save. Alright, this was my test save from before, so. Which theologians would be a metalhead? What's up, Luther Pilled? How you doing? What ones would be? Luther, maybe, because Luther was a musician and he could appreciate the different nuances of heavy metal, I would think. I think Luther would be a safe choice. Anselm, maybe. He would like the he would like certain types of metal. The ones that are very epic sounding, like the ones that use a lot of biblical themes and everything. Like when Megadeth, you know, in Symphony of Destruction, like has open reference to the return of Christ, you know? Alright. That was easy. Starting to regret the going on easy mode with this, because these battles are pretty lackluster in the easy mode, and I've already been bored with the story a little bit. Not that this is a bad game. I actually think it's pretty neat so far. Wait a minute, we already been here. LCMS, listen to Lutherans on YouTube and love my local church. The higher distinctives between sentences are above my pay grade. Yeah, I mean, that's where a lot of people are, you know. A lot of those higher distinctions are above people's pay grade. The one thing I would say, and I think that this is not just a critique coming from me, you know, random Eldona guy. This is like a critique that is within the LCMS as well. The fact is that the fellowship issue, we were talking about fellowship and everything, the Wells and their ideas about fellowship and stuff like that. But the truth is, there's a fellowship issue in the LCMS as well, in the sense that even within the LCMS, you have people that have talked about, you're in fellowship with people who deny the confessions a lot of times, whether it be within their services or just there's a lack of discipline. I think that would be a critique from even people within the LCMS, that there's not the structure of the LCMS. It makes it hard to really discipline those churches that go off the reservation when it comes to the confessions. I think if you want to have something that is a layman's issue that needs to be addressed in the LCMS, it is the issue of fellowship and how you actually hold churches accountable to the confessions, especially when it comes to things like the liturgy or the use of the sacraments, things like that. I mean, there are so many churches within the LCMS that will just practice open communion fairly openly, and that's just gotta stop. Nice. All right. We have 2 battles left on this map. I agree. It's a trade-off with the size of the LCMS. It's like a microcosm of the same problem with the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, I mean, it could be a size problem. It also, I think, is not just a size problem. I think it's a problem with how it's structured too. I mean, Walther doing the quasi congregational route really didn't do it a whole lot of favors. At least that's my opinion. Yeah, this is definitely easier than what it should be. On reconfirming. I find it annoying that the confessional groups generally insist on reconfirming one another. Also, the guys who are so brand loyal that they advise people to drive 90 minutes for the right synod. I mean, I think I'll take that. I'll take the second part of that first. So that depends. Driving 90 minutes for the right synod. Well, do you agree with what that synod believes, teach, and confess? You know, do you think that that's the church that you need to be at? You know, is that it? Because there are some. I mean, there are some that, like, if you had the choice between a LCMS church that practiced open communion and contemporary worship and the closest Lutheran church was, like, say, an Eldona church, then I think that would be a good thing to do that. However, like, reconfirming one another, like, unless you're in like a cult or something, or in like a completely heterodox church, or completely heretical church or something, yeah, reconfirming is not something that necessarily needs to be done. Oh, come on. All right. There we go. Yeah, definitely stronger bishops. Is it wrong to date instead of court? Not dating as in with no intention marriage or sleeping around. If you're doing dating correctly, then it's basically just courting. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't see much of a difference between the two, because if you're dating the correct way and you have a family that is Christian and supportive and everything else, I mean, ultimately it's going to be very similar, if not the exact same thing. Oh, good. Boss battle. Wonderful. You rat, Santa hasn't abandoned us. He's been kidnapped. I'm Dragon. Rat is over there. With Santa out of the picture, we decided that it was time to go global. And what's more global than China? Wow. Such biting commentary from this JRPG. College supposed to release the jolly old man to us or perish. There's 12 of us and only 3 of you. You're the ones who are going to do the perishing. Actually, the game engine only allows for 5 enemies at a time. 7 of you are going to have to sit this one out. Okay. Alright, let's get to this. Alright, boss fight. Let's go. Let's go. Let's poison all of you guys. Alright, and then let's take some wind damage. And I'm going to earth damage this big cat here. Alright. I killed the big cat pretty quickly. Who's smarter, Sheldon Cooper or Smart Guy? Oh, Smart Guy for sure. Sheldon Cooper is a disgrace. It's basically a midwit, if you think about it. Sheldon Cooper is kind of a midwit. Good night and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Thank you for stopping by, Fuzzy Cheese. Appreciate it. You have a Merry Christmas. If I don't see you beforehand, Happy New Year as well. Yeah, Sheldon is a cringe Reddit atheist. Mentioned Yule and stuff. I don't watch Big Bang or Young Sheldon. So I don't know what specific references I know I've seen clips and stuff like that of him doing that, but all right. How do you know if you're applying the correct hermeneutics to the texts? I think it has to be, obviously, you get out of the postmodern mindset of trying to interpret things, and you simply ask, what was the intention behind it? I'm very much historical grammatical method. I think it's the most straightforward, logical way of doing it. As far as whether I know if that's the correct hermeneutic or not, that's where something like the analogy of faith comes in. Something like the analogy of faith being that, you know, is this something that is taken as something that's taken at faith's value, you know? Go by what the author intended. It seems like a pretty straightforward thing. And if that, and Luther had a good comment about this in discussing the Lord's Supper, where he's like, if we were wrong on that, if we're wrong on that particular way of interpreting it, or that hermeneutic, then we can simply say we were only doing as you said. We're like, say to the Lord, we're only doing as you said, you know? And that's really, that to me is the most straightforward way of dealing with something like that. Dealing with hermeneutics, now that doesn't go to say that there's not some aspect of like the Ambrosian method of using historical grammatical method on top of something like a spiritual understanding of the scriptures or something like that. We don't want to get too in either ditch, but that's the point, is to kind of take ourselves out of the equation when we're doing hermeneutics and simply go by strictly what the text is doing in and of itself. Okay. I'm just skipping a lot of this, guys. If y'all want me to slow down and read it, Godspeed. Really, I don't know if I can do that. All right, God bless you too. Thank you for the encouragement. On your opinion, why are the Reformed so happy to go against what the Church has always believed regarding baptism and the real presence? I think it's the Zwinglian influence. I think it's also the rationalism. Like the seeds of rationalism are kind of planted in the Reformed Church. And rational thought and logical thought is not a bad thing at all. But it's when you take that so far that you start explaining away things that are directly in the text, you know, that's just something they kind of have to deal with when it comes to you know, getting away from that sort of way of thinking, getting away from the rationality being the end all be all for everything. Because some things, I mean, even the Trinity, I mean, our Reformed brothers confess the Trinity, and yet that's not something you can come to by a rational explanation. Like you can't understand the mystery of the triune nature of God in a full and logical way. It doesn't make any sense to our earthly mind, to our, you know, creaturely mind, but we can confess it as being true because it's what the text says. It's what the text gives us. So there's a bit of an inconsistency there with our Reformed brothers and sisters. How, you know, they'll lean on a rationalistic understanding for things like baptism and the real presence, but they don't do that when it comes to things like the Trinity. So, like, Cthulhu got a brown egg. This accessory for Baba generates chicken power each turn. Okay, I want to generate chicken power for each turn. So can we equip this? Brown egg. Yes. Alright, he goes to the post office. Welcome to the post office. How can I help you? Are you hiring? Of course, Christmas time's always our busiest time. Always looking for part-timers. I wouldn't. No, don't. I don't recommend this. I don't recommend this, Cthulhu. I have done this before. I literally have worked at a post office and at FedEx, and I would not recommend during Christmas time. You make some good money though. You know, when I was in college, I worked at FedEx, and like Christmas time, yeah, you get more money and stuff like that, but why? I can go back to the post office? Okay. Well, I don't want to go back to the post office. This gives me horrible flashbacks. I'm like talking to supervisor. Yeah, that's about how it is. Got a building full of customers, a trader on the inside, and a package that needs to go to Toledo, and that's not even in our dimension. So when I say next, I mean next. Customer throws a knife at Cthulhu's head as he leaves the building. Yeah, that's about how it was back in the day. Unfortunately, no one in Cthulhu's party can equip knives, so it's not added to the inventory. What? No. The rest of the passage in similar fashion. So are we not gonna... What are we gonna get? Oh, it's a bomb. It's like in Jingle All the Way. They actually had a bomb. It's a sick world we're living in with sick people. All right. I ran into an old friend of my granddad, and he thinks he has a lead on another member of the League of Christmas Evil. Belsnickel. Okay. I'm honestly nervous and excited about same time being baptized. Yeah, awesome. Good job. What's your worst FedEx post office story? Ooh. Probably the time where there was a guy who they were getting a huge screen off the conveyor belt. So what we were doing there, especially during Christmas time, we had to load trucks and everything. That was one of the many jobs I did, and actually saw a guy who he was like literally loading the truck next to me, and he wasn't fast enough getting this giant, we're talking like had to be 90 inch screen TV, something like that, and he wasn't fast enough getting it, so he had to come down. He came over my station. He finally grabbed it, but in grabbing it, his hand went underneath the conveyor belt, and I had to pull the emergency leveler. Like each one of our stations had like a emergency pull and everything, and I had to pull that to stop. It caught right at the tip of these two fingers. It wasn't the worst injury that they had at their warehouse, but it was one of the first ones that I saw that was actually, the guy pulled it out, and it was like his fingernails were gone and everything. It was kind of insane. And luckily he's okay. You know, he was all right. He got bandaged up, and you know, wasn't a whole lot of like blood loss or anything like that. But this is why you follow the safety instructions, and you also try to make sure you're quick enough getting packages off a conveyor belt, because I mean they made us watch some of those videos and everything of like, hey, make sure you're not wearing like one of the reasons why I started wearing this rubber ring right here is because they wouldn't let me wear my wedding ring at FedEx, and I was like, okay, well, but they let me wear the rubber ring, and I kind of left it on there because I'm going to the gym. I got my home gym back here behind the drums and everything, so I've kept wearing it this whole time. But they've showed us stuff like a guy getting his ring caught in the conveyor belt and it ripping off his finger. We watched some of the most graphic like work safety videos, like guy dropping a huge package on his foot, and his foot getting like cracked and everything. They were graphic. I mean, they were obviously recreations. They weren't real, At least I don't think they were real, but they really scared you. But you still had people that they either weren't paying attention, or because we worked from 1 a.m. in the morning till about 9 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes, it depends on like the shift and everything else, but especially on those late night shifts or overnight shifts, you've got people that they're just not paying attention or something like that, and they risk it. I mean, one guy almost fell off because we're on raised platforms, right? We're on raised platforms, and we're loading the trucks, and you make one wrong step, you're falling off. And even though it's only like a 4 foot high platform, if you land the wrong way, yeah, you're gonna hurt something, All right, I think I've ranted a lot about that. Let me roll back up, see what I missed. Have you read Joel Bierman's A Case for Character Toward a Lutheran Virtue Ethics? If so, do you agree or disagree? I have not read that yet. I want to read it. It's on, it's on my short list as far as stuff to get, like modern stuff to get to read, because I've heard people talk about it, but no, I haven't read it yet. And I'll have to report back when I do read it. All right. What's your view of Nulla Extra Ecclesiam Salus? Yes. If you take it in the context by which Saint Cyprian meant it, absolutely. There is no salvation outside of the church. Now, does that mean outside of Rome, as in the way Rome uses it or the way the East uses it? No, because Cyprian is making reference to the entirety of the Church Catholic. He is actually talking about, like, look, if you're not a part of the church, then you're not a Christian. That's just simple, basic, like Hebrews 10, do not forsake the assembling of yourselves together. The idea that you can be a lone wolf Christian is kind of nonsense if you really look at the scriptures. If you take no salvation outside of the church as meaning that, then absolutely. Thoughts on Kalov's view of it? What exactly is Kalov's view? Because I do not remember offhand what Kalov's view of it is. And that's embarrassing for me to say, because I've been talking to Pastor Jackson a lot about Abraham Kalov, and I love Abraham Kalov, but I've only scratched the surface with some of Kalov's views on certain things. What in your mind is the strongest argument for the Reformed, and why isn't it good enough? The strongest argument the Reformed have is, again, going back to their logic and rationalization. Like, Calvin was really good at systematizing. He was really good at systematics. He was really good. I mean, you look at the Institution of the Christian Religion, it is impeccably laid out, right? It's got, like, the dude was smart, okay? But that's also the problem. The problem is that, that sort of logic only gets you so far. That sort of reasoning only gets you so far, to the point to where Calvin was willing to forego, even in his commentaries, the idea that after the resurrection, Jesus appearing to his disciples, just appearing, even though the doors were locked in fear of the Jews. And Calvin surmised famously, kind of a famous blunder of his, was that he said that they must have left the door unlocked and Jesus snuck in through a window. And that's kind of ridiculous when you really think about it. It's ridiculous that that would be the explanation. I don't understand why Calvin had to go that far with it. All right. Basically so extreme that he wouldn't even think some Lutherans aren't Christian. Yeah, Kalof can be extreme on certain things, yeah, absolutely. The good thing about that is, again, I mean, Kalof, while he has a lot of really good things, still, as Lutherans, we have to still hold everyone, including our wonderful and illustrious fathers, towards biblical and confessional standards. I think if it falls short of confessional standards, then there you go. If that makes sense. A degloving injury. It happens to guys who dunk basketballs while wearing their wedding rings. Yeah. Yes. Let's go ahead and hit a save on here. Oh, we're coming close. Blazing Tunic. Armor for the Cthulhu boosts his fire damage. Alright, cool. Let's see if we can equip that. Nope, we got a battle. Perfect. Alright. Nice. Alright, I really don't need... Oh no, we got poisoned. Well, I'm gonna poison you then. Good job. Oof. There we go. Alright. Is it degenerate to want a waifu? Depends on what you mean by that. I mean, in IRL, like, you want a real, like, human wife, then no, that's not degenerate. If you want an anime character to come to life and you're living in a delusion, then maybe that is degenerate. You know, I mean, my wife is pretty awesome, so I think everyone should try to find a really, really awesome Christian wife. I don't think that that would be a bad thing. And then you'd have a real-life waifu. To be fair with Calvin in the window, Christ's ability to do things with his body that we can't is a pretty glaring problem in the theology of those who deny the communicatio, the communication of majesty, yeah. I can't see tonight, goodness gracious. Just so y'all know, I'm on my, like, y'all are on the top monitor, which is not super far away from my face, but I also am an old man with really bad eyesight, so if I mispronounce a word or I don't say something right, that's why. Oh, there was a box there. I can't get to it, though. Coming up to another battle. Alright, cool. I'm gonna poison you guys to start out with. Oh, they all powered up. That's not good. Okay, how do I get over there? Okay, I think I know how. Best hardcore adjacent. Oh, don't even do that, Kid Fury. I can't even. There's no way. If you're trying to get it, if I seriously don't know what that looks to me like, just like little specks on the screen. Why would you do that? I'm already an old man. But before that, before you made fun of my eyesight, best hardcore adjacent metalcore bands. Well, isn't metalcore already hardcore adjacent? So, Sleeping Giant. I'll go with that. Why? Oh no! We're all getting poisoned. Am I going to purgatory for trolling Grandpa? Yes, yes, you are. I'm not that old. I'm not a grandpa yet, but you know, I'm getting there. I might as well be. There's that treasure chest. Extra whip. Better than a basic whip. Okay. Okay. Well, let's go and equip that then. Was it cringe for August vs. Red to make songs about someone coming out? They did that? Like someone coming as in like someone who is a homosexual? Is that what we're talking about here? Also, how would you respond to stuff from the metal community about anti-organized religion? Well, I would respond like I would when I responded, well, when I criticize the punk community for being anti-religion, anti-stuff like that. I mean, it's almost a religion in and of itself, you know? I mean, I remember Dana Carvey did a joke about, everybody complains about organized religion, but No one ever wants disorganized religion, you know, because that's not a thing, and it's kind of cringe. Yeah, coming out gay. I think it is cringe that August Burns Red did that with doing that song. I didn't know that they did that. I've kind of been out of the loop for a long time when it comes to new stuff that's been out with especially metalcore and stuff like that. I don't really need any healing right now. All right. So sad that so many amazing Christian bands are like religion bad, relationship with Jesus all you need. Yeah, it is. And then I don't think about that too, because I mean that's a self-contradicting thing, you know. I remember Micah from O Sleeper saying that he talks to God in his mind all the time. Sad evangelicals are the dominant force in metal. It is unfortunate. But that just, I mean, that makes the ones that are not like that. I mean, again, I hate referencing, like, this is not a metal band, Showbread, but Showbread went down that little rabbit hole for a little bit, but then Josh, the vocalist, he got more into theology. He got more into understanding like the history of the church and stuff like that, and then he wrote a book, defending the ancient faith from deconstructionism, which is cool, you know. There can be times where people go down a certain path only to discover that, yeah, they were actually wrong. In fact, one of the songs on Showbread's newest album, it's more like a spoken word type thing, and again, Showbread's more in the punk rock side, not the metal side, but there's a song on their latest album which was actually really good, which talked about how like deconstruction is basically those who deconstructed and went left and all that different stuff really actually are just doing the same exact things that they accuse the so-called right-leaning evangelicals or whatever. They're doing the same exact thing that they accuse them of doing. Skinny new music and lost taste for metal. Favorite black metal bands or unblack metal bands? Horde. Horde's my favorite. And it might just be because there's a bias there, because that was the first band that I got into that was considered unblack metal. But I really like Horde, even though, I mean, well, like most black metal, it's a one-man project, and he only had one album. But still, Horde's great. I love Horde. Yeah, Invert the Inverted Cross was one of the greatest songs. Like, it really was cool, even though we all know the inverted cross was actually St. Peter's cross, so it's technically a Christian symbol. So, okay, no, I'm going the wrong way here. There's one. Oh, I can't get to it. Gotta get that chest. Ratty coat. Protects against ailments. Is it wrong to do the St. Peter's cross? No. I mean, again, I'd say the same thing. I think it's the context of it. Obviously, the edgy Satanists and edgy atheists want to use it as a mockery of Christ and everything. And some people, all they know is that aspect of it. So be careful in how you use it, but it's definitely not a satanic symbol, and it's perfectly fine for Christians to use it. I think Christians should take back as many of those symbols as they possibly can, because every single one of them were Christian symbols at one point. So don't let the Satanists, the atheists, whoever, don't let them take your symbols. Just like don't let them take your holidays. Don't believe the nonsense of Christmas is a pagan holiday, Easter is a pagan holiday, whatever else, and the other thing is this pagan and all. Like, those are all neo-pagan myths that started out in really the 1800s with the neo-paganist movement. Every single one of them has been debunked thoroughly. And I'd say the same thing with the symbols, you know. I appreciate Impending Doom and bands like that doing things like the Repentagram and stuff like that, and trying to do something for their brand that, you know, is different. But the pentagram was a Christian symbol way before it ever was associated with any sort of witchcraft or pagan type stuff. Same thing with the inverted cross. I mean, the pentagram was originally, it was the 5 wounds of Christ. You know, the 2 hands, 2 feet, and the side. And then they turned it upside down. They made it a goat's head and everything because, oh, edgy. You know, it's so edgy. Don't let them take your stuff. That's not good. That is not good. All right, I got her healed. Good. What's the best anti-Christian band? Let's see. I'd have to think about that. I mean, when I was a whiny child, I used to dig Marilyn Manson, but I got older. I turned 13 and realized Marilyn Manson was horrible, as far as like instruments and stuff, and he was kind of a you know, edgy midwit and everything. So I guess that's the closest thing I can think of right offhand. Thoughts on Ethiopia? Ethiopian eunuch and the Ethiopian church. Pretty interesting. As far as the country goes, I don't know. Ethiopia. Any concert stories? So, yeah, I had a guy that actually came on this channel that recognized me from the Striper show that I went to not too long ago in out in Destin, Florida. So he recognized me from that show. So that was pretty cool. I'll share this concert story, because it's one of the ones I share with a lot of people that ask me about concert stories and everything. So I can't stand hippies. I really can't. I don't like hippies. Hippies are a blight on any scene and any culture. Anything they touch is horrendous. And I've had to deal with hippies at a bunch of shows that I played at back in the day. We were doing a show with Gideon and Those Who Fear back in the day down in Panama City. And there was a hippie band that was opening up, and not only did they not respect anybody's time, we didn't get to play. Like, my band personally didn't get to play until like 11:30 at night. Okay. Gideon and Those Who Fear didn't get to play until like 2 in the morning. Now, granted, once we all got to play, it was a great show, but the hippie band that started out the whole night almost ruined everything for everybody, because not only did they not respect anybody's time because they wanted to be in the flow of everything, man, they also were high when they got on stage. And apparently, unbeknownst to anybody, they were a nudist band. And so when they started stripping off their clothes, it really grossed everybody out. And somehow they got on the show with the band that I was in at the time, and Gideon and Those Who Fear, and they were playing like the most hippie-fied folk music you could ever think of. You know, like, if you've ever seen the beginning of the third Bill and Ted movie, and they're at that wedding and they're doing like this whole experimental, that's the type of music that this hippie nudist band was playing. And I couldn't stand it. Hippies ruin everything. Hippies almost got us kicked out of the Graceville Civic Center because they wanted to bring their herbs and spices. If you catch my drift, hippies are ridiculous and they ruin everything. And they believe in free love until you tell them that they're ruining the scene, and then they hate you. They hate you for saying that what you are doing is not allowed at the show. You can't be involved. Oh, so you're not being very inclusive. Like, I've dealt with that almost my entire life when it came to like playing music and stuff. The modern day progressives are just advanced hippies. They're hippies that have gotten more college knowledge or whatever, which is not actually real knowledge. Those types of people, they ruin everything. They ruin every show they come to. They just ruin everything, and I can't stand them. I can't stand those type of people, and it probably because of that. It is a culmination of many different things is why I don't like hippies. But that one specific thing, nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wanted to see some experimental hippie folk band that were nudists at a punk hardcore metal show. No one wanted that. And for some reason, they got on the show. Somehow they got on the show. And they ruined everybody's night. And when they finally left because they realized that they were in the wrong crowd. That's another thing about hippies, is that hippies, they want you to respect them and their lifestyle and stuff, but they will not respect your own boundaries. You tell them that something, again, something's not allowed at the show, or this is not the right show for you to be on. They will go on a campaign against the promoter, against anybody whatever, because they were left out of a card. No, you weren't. This is not the right place and right time for this type of hippie nonsense, okay? Yes, naked old hippies, gross. It was horrendous. Horrendous. That's one of the worst times I've ever had. Now again, when the actual bands that I was actually there to play with and to listen to and to be a part of, wonderful. That show was great. It didn't end until like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, which is way too long for a local show. A bunch of regional bands and stuff. But after that, after the hippie band was done, we were fine. As far as the coolest show I've been to, just as someone who's attending, like not someone who's on the bill or anything, I have to say that once again, Showbread, when they were doing the Anorexia Nervosa tour, I went to the Red Door in Pensacola. That was one of the coolest shows that I've ever been to, just because they had a complete immersive experience, because it was a concept album. So that was a cool show. And then Demon Hunter was great. Demon Hunter's always great. I loved Family Force 5. That was another great show. I mean, just how energetic it was, and energetic in is all the right ways, and just fun, just absolutely fun. As far as straight metal goes, Striper was one of the best ones I'd seen. The fact that they were completely great guys. They hung out with people after the show, and I just had a great time. I tend to remember shows that I went to that was a great time. A Plea for Purging, that was another one. I love the fact that they were joking and everything else, that everyone kept doing one more song after their set was done, and the promoters were trying to shoo them off because they had a wedding coming in the very next day at that venue. And so A Plea for Purging's we were told by management that we didn't know any more songs, so we can't do another song. That was awesome. I love that joke. It was it weren't being mean to the promoter or anything like that, but it was just, something fun, something light to say. We were told by management that we didn't know any more songs, so we can't do it. Says they literally had to be done by 11 p.m. because they had people coming in after the show to set up for this wedding that was going to be at the venue, at the vault, and the vault's not there anymore, which is crazy. That venue's no longer there. All right, Kid Fury got me ranting on, once again, I said I was an old guy. I was bad eyesight. Now I'm sitting here reminiscing. Oh, come sit by the Christmas tree with me, kiddies, and I'll tell you about the time that hippie band ruined everything. Come sit by Grandpa. We're gonna talk about the good old days. All right, we got a stone whip. Christmas Eve the 17th. How many of these Christmas Eves are we going to have in this game? Large ornamental star flies off the Christmas tree. Yeah, Cthulhu can fly. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? I can't see. Now, to be fair to the creators of this particular JRPG game, this is exactly how I played all JRPG games. I don't like the talking portion of it, which is why I probably shouldn't have went with the sane setting on here, which is more story and less challenging enemies. I should have went with insane or something like that. A graveyard? Let's go to the graveyard. Tombstones have holly wreaths placed in front of them. Candy canes are also a frequent occurrence. Who decides to read a few of the message on the gravestones? Father, radiologist. In the end, he did not win. In the end was him. Teresa Tess. If we could have one more moment with you, we'd ask you what the Wi-Fi password was. Sander Lachey? Okay. Remember to put a funny message here before the game ships. Oh, this must be the devs for the game, I'm assuming. That's the meta joke, you know. Everything's so meta. I'm okay with meta things, I guess. But it just seems very millennial. This game did come out in 2019, which was the height of, like, meta everything. Again, not a bad thing on the game. I'm not saying that this is a bad game or anything like that. But I would treat anything in a JRPG like that, just for the time, pretty good. And I haven't had a problem with this game so far. Pretty good. However... Alright. Who thinks Asians are supreme race says Genghis Khan is a Christian prince. Yeah, that's a little bit incongruent in there. This is where our Reformed brothers and sisters would use their logic and say, that doesn't make any sense. That's a good use of logic right there. Probably don't want to equate Genghis Khan with being a Christian prince and also having all of those other ideas. Not very consistent. Okay, we're going into the reindeer lands now. I need to see what time it is. Oh my goodness. This might be. This very well might be. We might be getting towards the end of our stream here. We'll go through this land, do some battles, and we might be getting to the end of the stream, because, yeah. I'm an old man. I have a bedtime, unfortunately. But really, it's more has to do with the fact that, well, I've got a lot of stuff to do for Christmas. There's a bunch of things to plan for. We got Christmas Eve services. Got Divine Service for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So Yes. Asian Mauler be like, thoughts on Turnip Seed? I think Turnip Seed's a good guy. At least I don't have an issue with him that I'm aware of. He actually did a podcast or a show or something on his YouTube channel on the Civil War, which I actually liked. I really like his takes on the Civil War. So it's not all bad. Like that group doesn't have all bad things to say. Oh, come on. Thank you. I got caught in 4K. Absolutely. Yes. I think even when some, like, I think to be absolutely fair, there has to be, like, there's very few people that I would say there's absolutely no redeeming quality in anything they say. But that also can be kind of a bad thing sometimes too, because, you know, how would I put this? If there's some, the devil oftentimes will come in ways that there'll be a little bit of truth mixed with what they say, with what the enemy says. So sometimes you got to find that line where is it to, like, do you acknowledge the little bit of truth there might be in your enemy's arguments, or is the enemy dangerous enough to where you can't acknowledge it, period? You know, I tend to take I'm going to be honest and just say, okay, here's what is true and all that, but this is why you need to be on the lookout for it, you know, kind of have a little bit more of a nuanced approach. I think that's a good thing with apologetics in general. I think with any apologetics or any sort of defense that you do with anyone, I think it's a good thing to try to make sure that you're being honest and saying, like, hey, I agree with this, that, or the other thing this person says, but the fact that they're saying that and those things are true, but yet it's surrounded by all of these other things that are not true, or in fact anti-Christian, or whatever the case may be, then hopefully people can use that for discernment. If I'm making sense. Of course, I'm paying attention to this video game and trying to explain, so maybe I'm just sounding like once again an old man rambling, but favorite Christmas Eve and Christmas Day traditions, stuff you do with your family. Every Christmas Eve we watch It's a Wonderful Life, and that is a tradition that is only increasing this year because we now have a functional and running Jellyfin server, so don't have to rely on the streaming services and everything. And of course, I've got a couple of copies of It's a Wonderful Life on DVD, on Blu-ray, so that's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a Wonderful Life. We watch that. We watch Muppet Christmas Carol. In fact, at the end of the stream, there will be a Muppet Christmas Carol Easter egg for everybody that tunes in to the very end of the stream when I go off. But those are the two biggest traditions in our house. We'll do that. One tradition that's not necessarily Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but on top of our tree, we have John the Baptist ornament on the top of our tree. So that's more of a, I don't know, Christmas season, right? We also like to try to spread out some Christmas. So we really take the 12 days of Christmas seriously in trying to, we won't like open presents every single day for the 12 days of Christmas, but we do acknowledge that there's 12 days, and that actually makes it easier, especially going to different houses and everything else, because it's not Christmas, it's people are like, well, it's not Christmas. Oh, yes, it is. It's the 12 days of Christmas. So even if we go like December 27th, the festival of the Holy Innocents or whatever. Or St. Stephen's Day. That's still Christmas. Thoughts on opening presents on Christmas Eve? It's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Although you could say it's unorthodox. Shield breaker. Nice. Oh, we need to equip that probably. Well, who has the shield breaker exactly? There we go. Got it. All right. Bro has Baptist as an ornament. All right. 5 more battles and then we'll end the stream for tonight. I think we've helped Cthulhu enough for this particular playthrough. As far as the game itself, I could see this being a pretty chill game. Fun for the whole family. Oh, man. No. There we go. All right, got him. watched Christmas with the Cranks. Means a lot to me after my Presbyterian Christmas is a Sin phase. Have you seen it? Yeah, I've seen Christmas with the Cranks. It's one of those, like, it's not a holiday classic for me, but it's actually something that I'll put on in the background. We have it on DVD. And that's an old DVD. Like, I don't even remember how we got that. Because it just showed up at our house one day. And I enjoy it. Like I said, it's not like a Christmas classic for me, but it's not a bad movie either. Committed to making that choice with that attack, or that. There we go. Fun fact, Randy Rhoads, who co-wrote some of Ozzy's albums, was a Lutheran. Yeah. I knew somebody that worked with Ozzy was a Lutheran, but I couldn't remember who. I know that one of the guys in Megadeth's a Lutheran also, but I can't remember which one. Oh no, I got another battle now. What is some advice to people who kind of hate themselves and give up all the time? I would say, first off, read the Psalms. Yeah, especially look at the fact that a lot of the Psalms are about that too. So you're not alone in that. But also understand your identity and worth in Christ. You know, that's another big thing. Understanding that your joy comes not from your accomplishments or your even being good enough, but it comes from the fact that Christ is good for you. That was close. David Ellefson, yeah, that's the one in Megadeth who was a Lutheran at one point. All right, 2 more battles, and I guess we're gonna get a boss fight after that, and then then I think we might end the stream there. Oh, come on. There we go. What bands do you think are mischaracterized satanic by some Christians? In my opinion, Carnifex. I don't know, hot take. Yeah. Dr. Seuss was a Lutheran. I was not aware of that. I've got, like, going back to the Carnifex thing, I've got a friend that really likes Carnifex. I've never actually listened to him, but I'll have to ask him about your hot take. Boo. Edgy atheists go and sing "Hell Chose Me," but really it's playing devil's advocate. They're actually pretty good though. May have to check it out. Alright, so we're out of battles here. So that means we've got to go up here. Maybe there's like a bigger boss fight somewhere. Once we find the big boss fight, then we could be good with the stream tonight. Oh, wait, we can't go up there. Have we already been here? This is ridiculous, if that's the case. Where's the big boss fight now? I'm promised the big boss fight in the JRPG. Have I listened to Miss May I? Yeah. I think most everybody's listened to Miss May I, right? I would assume. And they're a pretty well-known band, I would say. chest here. Alright, we definitely have to equip that. What would need to happen to get green eggs and ham added as an appendix to the Book of Concord? Well, there'd have to be some bratwurst in there, right? Because German or something, right? It's just green eggs and ham. I mean, that's more Scandinavian, I guess. I don't know. Some people call it an As I Lay Dying ripoff, but they're really good at what they do. Yeah. Everybody in the world suddenly became toddlers with great theological knowledge, I guess. Oh. That's a responding to green eggs and ham. That's a Norwegian delicacy, green eggs and ham. I think. Don't quote me on that. Or quote me. I really don't care. Alright, big boss fight. Alright, I want to go for the big guns right away. All right, got him. All right. For one last story, was there ever a moment where you wanted some merch that looked sick, but your parents said it was too satanic? No, but my mom did get freaked out when Norma Jean's Redeemer came out, because she went to pick it up for me at the Christian bookstore, at the family Christian bookstore, okay? And she got freaked out because they had it already in a bag, and she had called in, and it was going to be like, I think it was like for my birthday or something. Or maybe it was Christmas. I can't remember specifically. No, it was my birthday. It was my birthday because we went to go in February to see, because we were scheduled to go and see them live in February, Norma Jean. And they were with Queen Anne's Revenge and a bunch of different other bands and stuff. But I think that was when I Am Terrified was still on Goatee Records. Anyway, point is, she went to go pick up Redeemer from the Family Christian store, and they already had it in the bag and everything. She buys it, they hand it to her, and she pulls it out, and she sees the cover, which really, the cover's not that bad. It's a crow, you know, like pecking at a little girl's head, and not in a graphic way or anything, but it's there, the symbolism of, you know, the gnawing sin and everything that, you know, that people deal with and such. But for some reason, that cover freaked her out so much that she's like, I don't know if I'm going to give you this album until we see this band live. So for some reason, she didn't want me to have the album, but we're going to go see the band live because she wanted to, you know, like scope them out, I guess, and everything. But we saw them live, and she was very impressed. She saw that they prayed before the show, and she even got to talk to some of them. We got to talk to some of them and everything. The ones from Queen Anne's Revenge and I'm Terrified and stuff like that was on that show with them. And it was a good time. And after that, she gave me the CD, and she's like, okay, well, it's not my thing, but, you know, you can have it. So, you know, there you go. So it's not that she didn't let me have it. It was more of, she just got freaked out by the cover. And that's not even, if you look up Norma Jean's Redeemer, it's not a cover to be freaked out by. It's not really the most intense thing in the entire world, you know? I mean, Mom was perfectly fine with all the Demon Hunter albums. She was perfectly fine with something like Nailed Dead Risen, Horde, Old Becoming the Archetype stuff. Like, we listen to that stuff all the time. But for some reason, something just caught her eye. She wasn't expecting that. Like a little like this crow pecking at a little girl's head or something. But there you go. Yeah, Kid Rev War coming out right now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, come on, Mom, it's not even that bad. There's no blood on the cover. There's no blood. That's exactly the problem. There's no blood. It's the blood of Christ. Christian bands should have blood. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that cover freaked my mom out, but it did. That was the closest thing to my mom ever saying, yeah, I don't know if I want you to listen to this. I don't know. Let me wait and carry you to their show and let you see them live and get to talk to them and everything. And then I'll decide whether you're listening to this album. It's kind of, now thinking about it, especially now as a parent, it's like, I don't know if I would take that approach necessarily, but you know, it happened. All right. We are, I think we're going to wrap it up here with this. Yeah. Happens to be the best of villains. It's nothing to be ashamed. Okay. So we'll get through this. Blah, blah, blah. Dialogue. Yep. We've defeated the fourth evil member of the League of Christmas Evil. Fourth member of the League of Christmas Evil. Evil? Evil. Evil. I have been called bad before. Many people have said I do things that are not correct to do. I don't believe in such talk as this. I am nice man with happy feelings all of the time. Oh my goodness, if I can get through the dialogue, I will save this game and we can close out the stream. Drum solo before the stream ends. Well, I would do that, but let me move out of the way and see. Let me show y'all. So there's a bunch of junk on my drums right now, mostly DVDs and Blu-rays, because I have been filling up my Jellyfin server. So, like, what do we got here? We got, I'll be honest, some of these are my wife's, But it's covered with like SpongeBob put on for the kids, Rogue Juan. Got I love this movie. Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, Three Musketeers. So it is filled. Got my Planet of the Apes movies as well. There's a bunch of Blu-rays and DVDs on the drums, so it would take me a while to clean it off, and we would yeah. Maybe next time, maybe next stream we will do a drum solo at the end. One day I really want to set the camera up on the other side of the drums. Maybe we just do a drum stream. That would be awesome. Were you raised Lutheran? No, I was actually raised fundamentalist Pentecostal. And then I stumbled my way out of Pentecostalism into Presbyterianism for a snag, and then I became Lutheran. So it's a long story. I did a whole episode on the bookcase behind me about my kind of life story and journey through a lot of things. I kind of stumbled my way into Lutheranism, but that it was just reading the Book of Concord and comparing it to Scripture that made me a Lutheran. Yeah, I was very lucky to listen to metal. My mom actually was a big fan of Metallica back in the day, so it was one of those, like, yeah, we went to like fundamentalist Pentecostal churches, but as I became like a adolescent, an early teenager, we kind of moved into the Assemblies of God, so it's a little bit more softened, you know. And I got to tell this one story before the end of the stream. So my uncle, to this very day, is actually an Assembly of God preacher, but he was at a more fundamentalist Pentecostal church, because that's what we were all raised as, fundamentalist Pentecostal. He got kicked out of his position as assistant pastor of a church because he was listening to Carmen in the car, and someone caught him listening. Now, if anybody doesn't know, Carmen is a Christian artist, and he's a very cheesy, like when you think of like the cheesiest Christian pop artist that you can think of, you know, it's Carmen, right? And he was kicked out of the church for listening to Carmen, okay? And then he became an Assemblies of God pastor. So there you go. Eventually we all end up kind of really settling in the Assemblies of God church, because they were a little bit more lax on a lot of things, but still Pentecostal and everything else. But that's how I was raised. And my mom being a fan of Metallica, you know, back in the early 90s was, you know, definitely helped with that kind of thing. But of course now I'm happy to be Lutheran, and a lot of those bands, I think, had planted the seeds that I will look back at and like, well, for example, Plea for Purging. Plea for Purging's album, what's the name of that album? The one with the wolf on the cover, with the beheaded wolf with his teeth ripped out and everything. It's basically a concept album about false teaching within the church. And I saw a lot of parallels with what that band was talking about in a lot of their lyrics and a lot of their songs and everything. With a lot of the churches that I saw that were being upheld, a lot of the prosperity gospel stuff that was going on within the Pentecostal churches that I was going to as a teenager. And so a lot of that stuff, you know, starts to lay, like, you start planting seeds a little bit that then grow up over time and get you more into the Word and everything. So, marriage of heaven and hell. There you go. Yes. Yes, there you go. All right. Was there Black Sabbath hate? Not really. I don't remember any major Black Sabbath hate. I know that some of my, you know, family members, they said Black Sabbath was evil or satanic or whatever, but not in my house. There wasn't a whole lot of Black Sabbath hate in my house. It was more of, well, we'll listen to the good stuff, and some things are about drugs, so we probably don't need to listen to those songs. Like Snowblind, you know, probably not listening to that song too much. Not when I was younger. Yeah. They A Plea for Purging did play a TD Jakes clip, and on that album. All right. All that remains will need a trivium. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Eventually, we need to do a music stream. I think one of these chill streams. Maybe we can, like, if I'm playing a video game on one of these chill streams, we play something like Brutal Legend or something music related. Because Kid Fury coming in with, you know, things like music trivia and stuff. We need to do a breakdown of a lot of Christian music, because obviously you have the terrible CCM stuff that nobody likes, but then you've had Christians that actually make good music and they use their faith as inspiration for that music. And I think that there's a vocational aspect to all of this as well that we could actually talk about. You know, that would be a good topic for another type of stream, whether it be a chill stream or whether it just be a stream where we go through that topic. I think there is a vocational aspect to why, for example, like, we are all, you know, heavy metal enjoyers, Christian metal band enjoyers, and those are valid things. We also, a lot of us don't like CCM, and that's also a good thing. But we also have to ask the question, well, why don't we play certain genres or certain styles of music during the divine service? Well, that's actually a vocational thing. The vocation of the divine service is different. Than there is an inherent vocation in every music genre and style. Think metal music being something like martial music, like wartime music, right? It has the same cadence and the same rhythm as something you would like. There's a reason why every single, you know, war movie has to have AC/DC or Creedence Clearwater Revival in it, you know, or something like that. Like, there's a cadence to certain types of martial music, and heavy metal fits right into that. And you don't usually play those type of music. That's not what the vocation of that style is for the divine service. The vocation of that style of music is, again, to martial warfare against the you know, in your everyday life, in some sense. It's Monday through Saturday music in some sense. You know, I'd have to get some notes together on stuff like that and try to show, you know, biblically and confessionally and historically why I think that is. But I think that would be a cool stream to do, just to go through with different music stuff and everything. Make metalcore great again. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we can't do that. Yeah, we can't do Brutal Legend. I forgot about that. Well, I was more something like that, where, you know, it has that music element to it, you know. Guitar Hero's dead. We can't do that, you know. But no, Brutal Legend does contain stuff that we could not actually play on stream. So yes, that is true. But if someone has an idea for a game similar to that, let me know. But Guitar Hero wouldn't work either, because that's dead. That's not even a thing anymore. What's the most metal hymn in the hymnal? Ooh. If you're gonna go with the original translation, like the word for word translation from the German, "Lord, keep us steadfast in thy word," is probably one of the most metal. "Slay the murderous Pope and Turk." Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. "Onward, Christian Soldiers" is pretty awesome. I like that one. onward Christian soldiers marching us to war with the cross of Jesus going on before. The tune is not as beefy as one might think, but the lyrics are there, so I like that. But no, the actual word-for-word translation of Lord, keep us steadfast in thy word is pretty epic, pretty awesome. Okay, Killing Floor 2. I gotta check that game out. I'll definitely check that one out. I think that one might be the next month. I was thinking about what to do for next month, and I was coming up goose eggs. Eventually, I want to do a playthrough, or at least start a playthrough of Roller Coaster Tycoon, so that we can build a Reformation theme park one of these days. But for next month, I might need to look into Killing Floor 2 and see what that's all about. Maybe that's something to do to tie in with the music theme. We may do that next month for the chill stream for sure. Speaking of next month, I will go ahead and say that the next couple weeks is going to be a little bit low on uploads. Getting a few things together, but obviously with it being the holidays, being the new year, gonna be a lot of stuff going on. So I'm gonna try to get something out next week and the week after next. But if not, then we'll start up the new year with the next chill stream. Possibly, we'll see. Trying to keep at least on the schedule for the once a month chill streams for sure. All right, I think that's it. I think we are going to be done. Let me make sure let me double check, make sure I saved my progress here, because I do actually want to play this game. Even though I found some of the talking stuff and the tutorials boring, I might probably play this with my kids. Seems like a nice enough game. I will go ahead and clear that out. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate y'all coming out. Stop doing that. Okay, cool. Appreciate everybody coming out, listening to me ramble and play through a game. And thank you for all your questions and your conversation. Until next time, God's blessings. Go serve your King.
Spirit, please. I'm Christmas Bill. I'm no longer going Scrooge mode. I promise to be jolly matching and cheer-coded all year round. I'm in my redemption era, Spirit. Tell me these events are not denied.